Hi guys, so in this video we're going to do our first actual animation. Something is going to move. Somebody shout power. So the last video we showed you about, I showed you about the layer panel. Okay, so we're going to check out how this now works with animation. How does this move? Right now it's just like graphic design. God is great on the background, but let's move. So beside the text you would see this arrow, this arrow. Okay, so you click on it and you see your transform properties. Transform properties are literally how it moves. This is how it moves. So you click on this, and then first off is your anchor point. Now anchor point is like your joint. Okay, this is your arm, and if you want to move, there's a joint here, so that's why it can move like this. Okay, so anchor point is like your joint. So right now this here is your anchor point. Let me zoom in so you can see it. This this right here is your anchor point. Okay, this can be moved to different places. So if you move it to the right, move it to the left. Okay, this is your anchor point moving. For now, let's keep it there. This is your position. Let's fit it back to screen so you can see. This is your position. This is your X position, and this is your Y position. X is your horizontal axis, like this, and Y is your vertical axis. So if you move this towards the right, increase it towards the right, yeah, or reduce it towards the left, it moves. Okay, and this is down, increase it down, reduce it, it goes up. Okay, so you can play around with that. And this is your scale, obviously how big or small it is. So it's at 100. If you increase it, it gets bigger, and then it can get smaller. Okay, this is your rotation. If you rotate 360, 120 degrees, whatever you like. Okay, so opacity is how much you can see. Okay, if it's clear or if it's fading away. So it's at 100, so you can see it clearly. If you reduce its opacity, you'd notice your screen, God is great, is fading off, it's off, and it's coming back, it's back. Okay, so that's what opacity is. So how do you animate? This is your timeline. So this is like your marker for each timeline. This is what you animate with. You move it to where you want to animate. Let's say at the start. So let's say this animation is going to start when the scale is 0. If the scale is 0, it means it's very small. Reduce it. Let's reduce it to 0. Okay, the scale is now 0. Now we are going to click on this clock. Okay, it's called the stopwatch. This is the stopwatch that like says, okay, by this time I want it to be 0. Okay, that's what you're trying to say. So if you click on it, something comes out. This is diamond shaped here. Maybe it's a square upside down. Yeah, but it's called a keyframe. Okay, so as soon as you click on your stopwatch, a keyframe comes out, and this also, by this you see another, you know, place to get your keyframes, more keyframes if you like. So at this point your keyframe is at what? 0. Okay, if you move it to maybe 1 second and say by 1 second I want the scale to increase to whatever, 404, and you see there's another keyframe here that came out. As soon as you move and increase or change anything, a keyframe will pop up. Okay, keyframes help to, this is the time that this is going to happen. Okay, you get. So you only need the stopwatch when you're starting. As soon as you click it, anything you start moving, anytime you move and change something, the stopwatch will automatically create a keyframe for you. So makes it easier. You don't have to click it 100 times. Now, what does this do? At 0 second, it was nothing. At 1 second, it comes out. You get. So if you play our animation by clicking on spacebar, you have got this grade popping up. Click on spacebar or escape to get back. Okay, so that's how you work with scale. And maybe you can come back to 2 seconds and decide that I want the scale to reduce, maybe not to 100 but to this. So when you play, go back and play it, it goes and reduces it back. Okay, so you see that. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. So that's how scale works. Now let's go to position. Now you can animate scale, position, rotation, opacity all at once. Okay, there's no limit. Your only limit is your imagination. I'm telling you. So let's say position. Like I said, when you want to work on another transform property, you are just going to have to click the stopwatch once. Okay, probably at the start. So you go back to the start and decide that the position is right there. Okay, and when it gets to maybe 1 second, we want it to move to the right a little bit. That works, right? The right a little bit. And when it comes to 2 seconds, we want it to calm down a little bit. That's just it. So now let's play it. All the properties will work at once. So it increases, moves. Can you see? Moving to the right, and like it's just happening. Everything is happening at once. I know it's not as obvious as you think it would, as you thought it would be. So let's make it more obvious. So let's make it down. All right, let's bring it down. So So you can see now it works. Yeah, yes, it actually really works. So okay, we've done position, we've done scale. Let's try rotation. Click on the stopwatch icon. It brings out your keyframe, your rotation keyframe. So let's say it will rotate at 1 second. Let's say rotate. So we tap, let's say 180 degrees. Okay, and and by the second, that's rhymes. That's a good rhyme. It's gonna go back to 0. Okay, back to what it used to be. So let's see what the animation looks like. Isn't that just cool? All right. So that's what it is. And lastly, opacity. So we can click it. Now it doesn't have to start from here. It doesn't have to start from here. It can start from the 15th second. And let's say you click this. The opacity is 100 now. Let's reduce it to maybe 25. So it will like increase at 2 seconds. Maybe it now gets to 100. So at the beginning, anything before the beginning is going to be that same 25. Okay. So if you play, it increases, then it gets clear. Okay. So these are what the transform properties are. These are scale, position, anchor point, and all that. Now I'm going to show you. What should I show you? I'm going to show you something about the anchor point. Okay. So because the anchor point is at the center, when I'm rotating, literally it will rotate around that center. If I put the anchor point here, if this is the anchor point too, all right. If I click it and I move the anchor point towards this point, and I decide that I want to rotate this, I see as if that's where the bone is. You get, that's what the anchor point does. So if I'm rotating now, it rotates towards where the anchor point is. If the anchor point was somewhere around the middle, if I try to rotate it, it rotates like around the anchor point. You get, so that's what it does. So it depends on how you want your movement to be. You keep your anchor point in the right point. Okay, just check out your bones. You would know where your anchor point is. All right. So these are what we call keyframes. Okay, these keyframes are just what marks the timing of every single effect that you've put. Okay, so the next video I'm going to tell you about the types of keyframes. Till then, test this out. Do better. Try every day. Just keep trying. And in a few weeks, you would join me and we will make magic. Bye, guys.